Real quiet, and let's roll, please.
53 Delta, take one, common mark.
Action.
There's a reason why people in Maine tend to get kind of excited when a movie is shot here. It's because it happens so rarely.
And let's roll both cameras.
Oh, there have been movies and TV shows shot in Maine going back a long way. Peyton Place, for instance, was filmed in the Camden area in 1957. But filmmakers have never shot in Maine with any consistency. Years can go by with little or no activity. The state's natural beauty is a draw, but filmmakers always want to know about something else.
And one of the first questions they ask is, what is the incentive program?
When filmmakers discover Maine doesn't have financial incentives for movie and TV production, which some states do, they usually move on.
I think if you shore up the film incentives here in this state, you're going to see a slow, steady rise in production and in the film industry, for sure.
Eric Van Wyck, who lives in Maine, is a producer who helped make this film, Holly Star, which was shot in southern Maine a few years ago. He and a few other people with movie experience are now pushing for financial incentives for filmmakers working in Maine.
You have a bill that you want the legislature to approve and the governor to end up signing that would create a series of incentives for filmmaking in Maine. Give me just a sense, give me like one or two specifics. What kind of incentives are we talking about that are in your bill?
The first thing I should say is that we need to sort of dispel any kind of myths about what film incentives are. You know, a lot of people think that it's about helping filmmakers or handouts for Hollywood. The other major difference that we want to drive home is that this bill wouldn't incentivize out-of-town, above-the-line people. We're talking actors, directors, writers, all those kind of Hollywood folks are not going to have their salaries subsidized by this bill.
Just tell me how we can make this work.
I think we need to meet on that one-on-one.
Xander Berkeley, an actor who has worked on dozens of TV shows and movies, now lives in Maine. And he's enthusiastic about this project, which is not some fanciful notion for him.
I'm in Montreal right now because they have tax incentives. And I've got my whole family up here. We're just finishing the 14th day of quarantine today.
Don't wait around for your life to happen to you. Find something that makes you happy. Do it.
Berkeley wants to work at home in Maine because he's spent decades shooting movies and TV shows all over the continent.
You're a working actor. Your phone rings and you get jobs. You don't have to stay in Maine, although you want to. Why has this cause become near and dear to your heart? Why does this mean so much to you right now?
I have 10 and 14-year-old daughters. I've been away on location. I've been separated from them, and it breaks my heart, and I can't do it. So it's very personal for me and selfish in that respect. I want to work in state where I can be around my kids while they're growing up. I don't want to miss the show.
A lot of other states have offered film incentives, and the record is rather mixed. Now, the Maine legislature is going to be taking a tough-minded look at what the proposals that you put forth. Eric, do you really think that this will, in the end, if it's approved, be a good deal for Maine taxpayers?
Yeah, absolutely. We're just essentially saying, you want to build this business, you have a vacuum, you need to create and be creative.
You know, in Massachusetts, in various other states, they bit off more than they could chew. And they're trying to compete with big Hollywood productions, and that's not what we're talking about.
Nobody's going to come here and shoot the Avengers, and that's not what we want. You know, we want to target those productions that are maybe 250 to 500,000, slowly growing up to essentially maybe $5 to $8 million productions. That's kind of where we cap it off.
Van Wyck and Berkeley and others have worked with the Maine Film Office to draft the bill that would create filmmaking incentives. The focus, they emphasize, is on helping relatively small Maine-based films and TV shows that would create jobs, boost the economy, and promote tourism. Not in bursts, but in a way that endures.
If we take a small town in a rural part of Maine and make it the set for an anthology series or a limited series of some kind, then people will want to go and visit that small town that was so beautiful in that show they fell in love with.
Hold the work upstairs. Let's roll sound. Action.
This is a jobs creation bill for me. I could care less that I'm a filmmaker or doing any of those things. It's a jobs creation bill.
I'm in love with the business. I love not the business part of it, but the artistic, creative community part. And I'm convinced that Mainers will also love the people that are involved in the filmmaking world from all aspects of it.
That's a cut.